good afternoon, everybody, on this lovely Friday afternoon. I'm here with the CEO of Pinnacle Global Group, Mayank. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself in a moment, but I'm Beth Flanagan, and look, I'm all branded up today, look, Team Pinnacle all the way. So yes, Mayank, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Babe. Good afternoon, everyone, whoever is listening. My name is Mayank Pandya, CEO of Pinnacle Global Group. We work with 150 plus firms in the UK and Ireland, accounting stroke bookkeeping firms with a team size of 300 plus in our offices in India. And now we've got people not just in Mumbai, but other parts of India as well. And it's a busy time of the year, and everyone is busy. Accountants are busy. We are busy. I mean, it's still events time. So yeah, lots going on. How are you, Babe?
I'm really good. Yeah, there's loads going on at the minute, isn't there? Yeah, it's all good though. I like to be busy. But yeah, so the purpose of this webinar today is we want to show everybody and tell everybody an overview of why outsourcing and offshoring can work, because it's still a dirty word, I think, to some people, that it doesn't work, it can't work, maybe it's not ethical. Some people I hear say, I've heard that for a little while. So we want to go through all these points and the myth busting around all that, and give you some testimonials and real life stories of what we have with our clients as well. So you know, I am a Beth Flanagan, accountant for many years, and I'm also, if you don't know, I'm also a senior consultant for Pinnacle as well. So this subject and this company is very close to my heart, which is why we wanted to come on and share and tell everybody about the experiences of working with Pinnacle and what we can do to help with capacity. So let's get straight to it. But just before I start, pop it in the box, in the chat box as we go along. Don't wait till the end. If you've got any questions whatsoever, please do pop it in the comments, and we will answer your questions as we're here. We've got Mayank. He's a very busy man, so let's use him while he's here for any questions that you've got for us. So please do that. So Mayank, let's get straight to it then. So the challenges that UK accountants and bookkeepers are facing at the minute, the recruitment struggle, the talent shortage. I mean, it's been like that for a little while now, hasn't it? But what do you see, like the trends happening in the last few years, and maybe going forwards as well? What's happening in the UK?
Absolutely. I mean, for the last 2 or 3 years, especially, I mean, it's sort of an interesting time, because obviously AI being the buzzword, I mean, it's kicking in, and forward-thinking firms, what we see, at least in our client portfolio, and also generally with industry experts like you and many others that we talk to as well, is forward-thinking firms, they embrace AI. Obviously, that has to be in all the conversation, and we talk about that too, because it's important. But they still need people. They still need capacity, whether it's in the UK, Ireland, or in India, for example, through offshoring and outsourcing. So I think it's still important that you go to have a hybrid of everything going. Obviously, you got to have people in the UK. You got to embrace AI automation, but you've got to have offshoring, because in an ideal world, I mean, that's what, like, some of the forward-thinking firms, they are doing. They're just having people in the UK to do client-facing role. And I get that, you got to have a juniors coming through the system, because obviously they will be the next gen of the companies and the firms, but you still need to use offshoring in order to free up the capacity for your team members, because let's face it, burnout is still a thing at the moment. Leaving money on the table is still a thing at the moment. Capacity is still a problem. Okay, it might have sort of died down in few functions here and there, but it's popping up in other functions. And hence, sort of, from our perspective, we've got compliance resourcing, and what we call it as a value-added resourcing, because that's an ever-evolving requirements of our clients that we are listening to.
Yeah, interesting. But there might be some sort of new people to the industry as well that are thinking, what on earth is the difference between outsourcing and offshoring? And I've heard that quite a lot, and it's one of the questions that people don't tend to ask, because they might feel a little silly, because they should know the answer. But can we just put that to bed once and for all? What is the difference between the two? Before you say that, we've got some people watching as well. So hey, Mahul, our friend, thank you so much for being here with us. So yeah, let's explain the difference to people so they understand.
Absolutely. I mean, offshoring is something where you have an arrangement with an external provider, typically outside the country, where you sign up a team or sign up people that will work exclusively for your business or your firm. And outsourcing can be done within the country, as we know, Babe, where things can be termed as projects, and it can be parceled on to an external organization, which can be based in the UK. But in our case, obviously, we do outsourcing in some cases, where we think, okay, for tax returns or for some bespoke work, like we're doing a migration work a lot at the moment when
Yeah.
uh, firms want to transform from one software to the other. We are helping many firms with that. That is outsourcing, because there
Yeah.
you're not buying or getting it long term with the arrangement. So, and in simple terms, as we always say, outsourcing is where the job is done by Tom, Dick, and Harry. And in offshoring, you just have Tom, who is exclusively for your business and firm, and that goes long way. And it's a long term approach, isn't it?
I don't, I always laugh when you say Tom, Dick, and Harry. I don't know why. I just think it sounds funny when you say
I
it.
just came up. I just came up with that, in just sort of simple terms to make people
Yeah.
understand. To those who don't understand, I mean, a lot of people, they do understand. As you know, offshoring, outsourcing, I do feel that it's no longer a taboo subject in most pockets of this country now compared to 6 7 years ago. So yeah, it's still though, as you rightly sort of pointed out in your first question, why some people think that it's still a dirty word, and with perhaps a bad experiences that they've had with some firms, and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's all about overcoming those challenges and still make it work.
Let's talk about that then. Let's move on to that. So that people that may be adverse to outsourcing and offshoring, but they are struggling, they're overwhelmed, but they're still adamant they're not going to outsource offshore to India, Philippines, wherever, because of bad experiences, or that they've never used a company like that before, and they've just heard bad negative reviews. So some of the things that I've heard, and they're totally not true. So let's just myth bust these. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard it before where people have said that the employees are paid peanuts, like they are in rubbish working environments. It's unethical. I'm sure you've heard this a million times before, Mayank, but let's go through these individually. So, I mean, I personally have been to your offices in Mumbai twice so far, and it's certainly not the case of all these bad negative things that people are saying. Your staff look like Bollywood actors. They're so glamorous to start with.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The
Yeah,
offices are amazing. You've got big, large Regis offices, very modern, very got air conditioning, which is good for me coming from the UK, getting into that heat. But they've
yeah.
all got, it's just like a typical modern office that you would expect in London or, anywhere in the UK. So when people think that you're not in a lovely environment, it's totally not true, is it?
Absolutely. Like, going back to your first part of your question, where sometimes people have had a bad experience and things like that.
Yeah.
That's exactly the conversation we've had at Accountex Manchester. Two
Right.
firms, they said, what, we tried 5 years ago, it didn't work out, or we tried 15 years ago, it didn't work out. And I'm like, that was 15 years ago. A lot of things didn't work out in 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You got to move on with life, because things evolve, things change. ChatGPT didn't work really well 5 years ago or 3 years ago, but now it's brilliant, for example. But also, I mean, to be fair to them, I mean, think about it this way. Like, for example, if I was born in this country and if I was running an accounting firm, I mean, if I've heard a lot of terrible things in and around me in the ecosystem, and as we know, like, accountants, bookkeepers, they work in the community. So when you hear from people, it just doesn't feel right to sort of get into it. So I get that. And also sometimes, it's a thing sometimes in the media as well, to portray a certain picture about India, which is also not true in most cases, if not all. Because India is definitely evolving. I mean, if you think about Big Four or Big Ten or big banks, financial services, they have their big giant offices in India. They call it as global capability centers. There were many names been mentioned in the past about that, but yeah, they are global capability centers, and there are more than at least 1,500 of them. And think about, these are pure billion-dollar Fortune 500 companies. They have their offices in India. So there's definitely a talent pool out there, which these big boys are using it. So I think, I almost feel that there's a parallel world where the big corporations are getting on with it. They are actually taking plane, going to India, setting up offices on their own. And
Yeah.
then there are segments of people, sometimes they don't believe in this concept from their perspective, for right reasons. So I think that's just a myth. And going back to your second part of the question about they're not being paid well, they're not looked after. I would say, not just for us, but even for, like, most companies that we know in this space, and this is on behalf of the industry that I'm talking about, that they do look after their team members. They pay them well, because if they
Absolutely.
don't, they are going to move away, and
Yeah.
they find some other job.
But it's
So
again, and we've spoke about this before, haven't we, as well, Mayank, that the fact that, you know, different fees of accounting services, for example, seeing as that's the industry that we're in, are different in where I am in Yorkshire to London. It's just how it
exactly.
is. So when people are saying they don't get paid enough, they don't get paid well, that's definitely not the case. It's totally a different environment, different things. We can't compare really, because do you know what I mean? We've also got one of your employees on here right now, so he can attest to the fact that your office is awesome, which it is, because I've been there as well. And yes,
Yeah,
you
the
do have
recreation and
recreational
games
games.
as well. Absolutely,
I've
absolutely. I
been
mean,
there as well.
as we speak, we have one client visit which just happened in the first half because client had to go somewhere else. I mean, we had a client visit last month as well, and I just wanted to say that we are going to have at least 7, if not 8, of our clients coming over to India on 31st of October, where we are going to have what we call it as our staff event. It's called Pinnacle Ignite, and we are going
Wow.
to have at least 7, if not 8 clients already signed up, all booked in, I mean, I'm sure they're planning as well, and they are going to be with us in our event. So that's going to be a testimonial for the people who, as you rightly
Absolutely.
sort of pointed out, they believe that, okay, whether we look after our team members or not, or what have you. I
You,
mean, we do
you
a lot of
absolutely do.
things.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think that's one thing about Pinnacle that I absolutely love as well. Well, one of the things is the fact that you do sort of put your money where your mouth is type thing. So you're not just getting a person that you never see, you never hear from, that they just do the work. You don't really feel like the part of your team. It's definitely not the case, because you
Yeah.
can't. We encourage our UK and Ireland accountants and bookkeepers that when they're working with us, to make sure that they have that their member of staff at Pinnacle, that it is their member of staff as well, and that they are absolutely part of the team. And when you invite these companies to fly over to Mumbai and go to your office and meet the team face to face, there's just nothing like it. It's just so good. And I don't know anybody else that does that, because you just go above and beyond on that. And the hospitality, so the people that are coming in next month, Mayank, I'm jealous as well, because I've been there and I've experienced this, and I know some of my
Yeah.
accounting clients have done the same and they've absolutely loved it. The hospitality is amazing. You sort of treat everyone with respect, and as if like we're kings and queens when we go over there. So it's so lovely. But meeting your team member in your offices is just fantastic, and I love it that you do that. And I think that absolutely reinforces and strengthens the relationship even more when you're seeing them face to face. But yeah, it's brilliant.
Absolutely.
It's very good. So
Absolutely.
yeah, the people that are coming in October, if it's the first time that they're going, then you're going to have an amazing time. It's going to be really beneficial, and you're going to make memories, but you're also going to reinforce that working relationship as well. So yeah, that's really, really good.
Absolutely. No, that's a very important point because it's all about relationship.
Yeah.
Like even in the UK, things can go wrong. Like the staff can go wrong.
Yeah.
You can have a bad hire and things like that.
Yeah.
So I personally believe that obviously accounting firms, they can stick to their offshoring partners. I mean, obviously they got to choose the partner well, and they can stick to the offshoring partner, build the relationship. If there are ups and downs, obviously that it's in everyone's best interest to sort that out. But more importantly, it's to build those relationship and trust.
Yeah.
That can happen by doing travel to and from wherever it's possible and wherever it's doable from both sides. Like in
Yeah.
our case, we have some of our team members coming over and do in-person meetings, go wherever they are, I mean, wherever our clients are really in the UK, Ireland. We make an attempt, including myself, we go and have those meetings. And then wherever possible, accounting firms can come in as well. So I think that way both worlds can come together and trust each other more, because definitely there are cultural differences and many
Yeah.
differences. So
But that's another
it's
thing
very
as well, that
important.
people may not realize, that you actually live in the UK as well. So you've always got that relationship and meeting the new clients as well here in the UK as well. So that's really good as well. So some of the success stories as well, because I know quite a few success stories, but can you give us, obviously without telling people's names for GDPR purposes, but
Yeah.
what kind of things have we found for clients that you've been working with? I mean, I know one for a start of somebody where they offshored with yourselves, and I think it was a bookkeeping payroll person, and they found CIS that had not been recovered, and I think they found the client 27 grand straight away. That's
Yeah.
obviously one massive win. What are the other wins that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, so that's one in terms, and that's sort of more technical in terms of what our people can do. But broadly, as we know, Babe, that it's just about giving confidence and capacity to those firms. Like I'll give an example of, well, I mean many, but like to at least one to say that they really have a very sleek and a small operations in the UK. And
Mhm.
they are like, we are relying on your team, whether it's a bookkeeping or accounts or payroll or tax, on complete suite of services to deliver the job, because obviously they have a struggle in terms of recruiting people. That is one. But also now it's a way of doing business for them, because they think that they can always go out and about, go on the road and get more businesses, because they know that we have we are actually their backbone, or we are their capacity.
Mm.
So obviously they can grow their businesses. So that's how they've sort of flourished and grown their businesses. And the other thing that which is very important and very latest as well is on the audit side, for example.
Oh
uh,
yes.
so recently, we had two of our team members. Again, we had onshoring done last year also, but they were here for 5 months, and good for them. They came in April, and they are leaving either today or they left yesterday. Good for them, because weather-wise, I'm sure it's much better for them not to stay beyond September. Not to say that it's not bad, but um, so that really helped that firm in terms of doing
Yes.
audits, like, because they needed people in this country. Audit offshoring is one thing, but they needed people over here, so that those team members can go out and about and do audit work in their client premises. So I
So
think
that's onshoring. That's a
that is
different one.
onshoring as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's useful, because they didn't have to then have a struggle of not taking more clients, because they were struggling to recruit, for sure.
And that's the big thing, the recruitment type of thing. And as well is the fact that people, like if we do recruit in the UK, maybe we use a recruitment agency, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's a thing about personalities as well, isn't there, that we've got to find the right people and with the right personality. So if we recruit ourselves through recruitment agencies, for example, and it doesn't work out, we've got to start that process all over again. Whereas if we're with you and for whatever reason the personalities clash, we're all humans at the end of the day, things happen, but you
Happens,
can,
yeah.
yeah, but you can easily replace that person very, very quickly with minimal stress and fuss. That's another
Absolutely.
win-win situation.
Yeah, there is no recruitment headache. Like, we take that. Obviously, things don't work out all the time. I mean,
Yeah,
nothing is perfect in this world. So, we navigate that process and do a handover, get someone else in with the right approach, right attitude. And yeah, that one less headache,
yeah.
that firm has to then sort of, look after.
I've had somebody private message me, so I just need to say this to you as well.
Yeah.
So somebody's asking if we outsource or offshore a team member with Pinnacle, what happens? Are they client facing or not? So do they deal with the clients or not? That's a question that I've had.
It depends on how they prefer, like, and also it depends on, like, if they tell us on day one that they want someone who want who they really want them to be client facing, we can find someone who's got obviously better communication skills and writing
Yeah,
skills and all those things. And yes, they can do, but we do suggest to allow some time to kick in into the system before they sort of decide to put them client facing, because it's always prudent not to do straight away.
yeah.
They can do it perhaps after a few months.
Yeah, absolutely. So if somebody is watching this right now then and they're thinking, you know what, I do feel a bit stressed, I'm a bit overworked, so I've got leads coming in, that's not the problem. I can get clients, but it's actually doing the work. I'm on my own, or maybe I've got a couple of members of staff, but we're growing. What's the best, where and how and what is the best place to start? So what's the best practice of getting that first role and the tasks that can be outsourced and offshored easily?
Sure. Like, I mean, obviously we provide different services, but I would, we formed a view that accounts prep, which is much more sort of standardized way of working, or, a commoditized way of working. We
Mhm.
feel that it's much more easier to integrate into, because it's like almost a distraction-less jobs
Yeah,
or task. Actually, they can put in 10, 12 jobs on a monthly basis. They can have a dedicated accountant doing them. So I think we think that that works really well compared to, well, others work well too, but I think that's the I
good
would say
place
a
to
low hanging
start.
fruit,
Yeah,
and a much more easy to plug in as well, because
yeah.
the fundamentals of accounting remain the same. And like, we always give UK trained accountants anyway, so that would be the best one to start with.
Yeah, that would be a good place to start. And how easy is it to integrate your offshore team with sort of your practice management software, for example?
Yeah, so I mean, we after GDPR, we don't work on our software, so it will be their software. Whether depending upon what they use, they just need to give us an access of those packages, and allow that time to kick in terms of, okay, what is the standard operating procedures, how they want things to be done. Because at the moment, what we are seeing in the market, a lot of firms, for whatever reason, they are changing softwares,
Yeah,
here and there, which also generates work for us because we help them doing it.
yeah,
So in terms of integration, we say, okay, put us on practice management software. We like to maintain timesheets, whether they like it or not. I mean, it's useful tool to make
mm,
sure that the productivity and assessment is done properly for our staff. And we believe in regular catch-up calls, whether it's with them or with our team. I mean, we've got a structure,
yeah,
and we go on the regular catch-up calls, and make sure that things are working out well. And obviously, we've in some cases, it needs a bit of a mindset training, which is where, you're kindly sort of helping us, sort of getting them aligned to
yeah,
the larger objective of making it work for both parties, really. So I think
yeah.
it needs work on both sides, isn't it? What do you think?
Oh, 100%. And it really did open my eyes when I came to your offices for the second time earlier this year, when we were doing a bit of training, because I feel that sometimes people, accountants and bookkeepers in the UK, they think, right, I've got a bit of a capacity issue. I've got some rubbish work. I'm just going to throw it over to India. They're going to fix it for me in like 3 seconds. And I think it's a bit disrespectful in that way from our side, from
Yes.
here in the UK, because it's not like that. It's another member of your team. It's another member of your staff. So they need to be treated just as respectful as it was if somebody was sat in your office with you. So it's not that we're just going to throw things over, the rubbish jobs, if you like. It's that,
Yeah.
we all your team, they are fully competent, experts, qualified, but they're still a human being at the end of the day, and we need to integrate them into our practices as a fully fledged member of staff. It doesn't matter that they're in a different country. It doesn't matter that they're in a different office. They still need that training. They know how to do bookkeeping. They know how to do payroll, year ends, whatever it is, the service that you require. But we still need that integration together. So it's really good that you've just said that you encourage the calls, because I can see sometimes we're like, oh, I'm too busy to have the call, but it's really, really important to have
Yes.
those calls, and to make sure that the member of staff does feel like they're a member of staff, and that Pinnacle management team and the client liaison managers do have these conversations, so that if anything is maybe a little bit out of sync, or that needs aligning, or if there's something that's not working, or on the flip side, yes, things are working, then, which is perfect, but they feel that they can't have that conversation, but to nip it in the bud at that moment in time. But what I see is that people are saying that, yeah, it's working, so I don't need a conversation, but you actually still do need that conversation, because
Exactly that.
out
Yeah.
of those conversations, the working relationship builds and gets better and better. And it might be the fact that, we then find out that you need some help with bookkeeping or payroll, that then we can absolutely help you with. So keeping those conversations flowing is just so crucial, and
100%.
have to happen. But yeah, I do feel that people still think that we just chuck everything over. That's a Yorkshire phrase, obviously, just chuck everything over. And yeah, magically, everything's going to be all lovely in 2 minutes. We are good, but we're still human at the end of the day. So we still need that respect and that time to be able to produce your work in the standard that you want it to be in. So what I'm trying to say is that it's the training side of things, and it's the patience, and that communication is the key, from my opinion of what I've seen. Yeah,
Absolutely.
where people have just been disrespectful and said, right, here's a VAT return. It's 4 o'clock on the 7th of the month. We need it doing in 60 minutes. Not going to happen. So that's what people need to be aware of as well. Just like you having a member of staff in the UK in your own office. It's the same, isn't it?
100%. Yep, 100%. No, and that's powerful. What you just said that, because look, I mean, offshoring, because we are offshoring partners, stroke service providers. So actually, okay, the majority of the onus should be on us to come up with good work and good quality work, and also communicate well, because our clients are 1,000 miles away, so it
Yeah.
feels distant. And sometimes, with the passage of time or distance, whatever you call, uh, it just becomes like a thing where there are misunderstanding, because okay, it's easier to, like for our team members as well, it's easier to say okay, it's clients who have not given us the information, or it's easier for firms to say, oh, it's the offshoring team who's done that, because we are not close to each other. Had it been like okay, somebody's working next, in the
Yeah,
next desk,
tell them.
or down, you can just tell them. It's easier because you have to face that person. It's a relationship within that office. But here, because it's far apart, I think sometimes the misunderstanding kicks in. But that's
Yeah,
exactly where, as you rightly said, we have to pick up the call and communicate,
that's
and
where
that's
it
what we are
kicks in.
encouraging as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it kicks in, but it shouldn't kick in. We're in
Yeah.
2025. We've got WhatsApp, we've got Zoom, we've got Slack, we've got Teams. It doesn't matter. And obviously, well, not obviously, people may not know this, but your team work UK hours as well. So they're there when we're there. Or if the UK accountant wants them to work a bit earlier, that's absolutely fine. It's whatever the client wants. They get basically, don't they? But communication is the absolute critical thing out of everything for it to work. So let's just go on to that then. So let's adapt that even more. So for long-term success, to have a successful partnership with an
Yeah.
outsourcing offshoring company, what needs to happen? And we've mentioned a few things, but what else needs to happen?
Yeah, I mean, open and honest conversation all the time, open and honest feedback all the time, building trust, meeting wherever it's possible, because obviously accountants, bookkeepers, they like to come to not all events, because if it's sort of an opportunity cost for them if they come to all events. For us, it's good because it's an ecosystem for us. So it's to meet on all those events, and having a regular catch up calls with each other, and have a framework, have a KPI. For example, if it's accounts, how many accounts are getting done every month? If it's VAT returns, how many VAT returns are being done? What is the timesheet? What is the productivity?
Yeah,
What is the quality? And all those parameters, we can
yeah,
have the set KPIs done, and it needs to be monitored. Given it's obviously the nature of accounting firms and bookkeeping firms, there are peaks and troughs. Obviously, some firms get suddenly very quieter, as we know, like the
yeah,
August month or last part of December. But overall, they got to see on a long term basis as to what this offshoring team is achieving in terms of
yeah.
number of accounts that they have done, number of VAT returns that they have done, number of pay slips that they have processed, number of audits that they have done, or like many other things that we do. So if there is a KPI, and accountants, they like numbers, we like numbers too,
We
because we are
like numbers, don't
accountants.
we? Yeah,
And if we present exactly, and if you present that in a KPI format, which I know sometimes it's easier said than done, because well, it happens in most cases, but then it just dips off. So but if you don't go or slip off the road, and if we keep monitoring those stats along with non-statistical parameters like quality and
yeah,
communication,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think we can go a long way and build trust and build relationship.
Absolutely. And I think from my point of view as well, absolutely what you've just said, Mayank, but also, and we've touched on it a little bit, like your practice management software. So
Yeah.
if you've got your pranic, which all of you should have that's watching this right now, please don't tell me
Yeah.
that you haven't. But please use your offshore member of staff, include them in your practice management software, include them in your phases and your checklists and stuff, so that it does work as part of that team. So as the CEO, the managing director, whatever you want to call yourself as your accounting firm owner, that wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is, you can log on to your practice management software and see where you're up to with all your clients, who's waiting for what stages they're all at. That can't happen if all your team, and I mean all your team, including your outsourced offshore people, are included in that. And the peace of mind that you'd get from that all your team are working together, is absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. No, that's important as well. And with what you just said, Babe, I think one more important point is, like, every client is different, every firm is different. Some firms, they actually get our team members involved, sometimes on a daily huddle, which can be too much, obviously, but like, at least a weekly huddle along with their other team members.
Yeah,
And I think that is powerful as well in terms of the
absolutely.
inclusivity element, and just to give a broader picture for our team in India as well, because at the end of the day, they also want to grow, and they have their own
Yeah,
aspirations in
yeah,
life. They want to do well. So from our perspective as their employer, we need to look after that as well, and that will be in
absolutely.
conjunction with our clients, which are
Yeah.
based in the UK and Ireland. So that is important as well.
I love this, what Drishti's just put. Distance can really be a number, and thanks to tech, almost everything can be really done, even when two
Yeah,
people are sitting across borders. Absolutely, 100%. We're now in that era and this phase of technology that we can literally do anything wherever together, which is perfect.
absolutely. Yeah.
So brilliant. So this has been amazing, this webinar, and me and you, we know we can just talk forever about this subject, can't we?
Absolutely. It's the
But I
subject
think
that we like. Yeah.
absolutely, when you're passionate about something, you get really involved and you want to just keep talking about it. But this is the first of many for everybody that's watching us right now. We're going to be bringing lots more webinars about this. So if you've got anything that you want us to talk about specifically, today's just been a bit of an overall webinar, but we're going to do specifics. And Mayank doesn't know this yet, but I would love to do webinar with certain members of his team as well, so we can show you some of the really good people that are in the bookkeeping team, that are in the payroll team, the year-end team. I think that would be fantastic to see the people that are actually doing the work. So I think we'll set up some sort of little webinar series on this if you think that that's a good idea, Mayank.
100%. I think that would be a good one, isn't it? Is to bring in the live case study, live scenarios. I mean, it's good that we talk obviously broadly and overall theoretically sometimes, but well, mostly we talk practically as well. But actually to get those scenarios in, like to give live case studies, I think that would be brilliant. We can definitely do that as an.
So
Great.
so before we just finally leave then, what's one final key thing that you would like to tell anybody that's thinking about offshoring, outsourcing, and that they're a little bit nervous? What would you say to them as a key takeaway?
Key takeaway is like don't start when it's start when you're busy, if you have the right people, but actually plan well in advance, talk to the right offshoring provider, plan well in advance, and actually include offshoring team as a part of your strategy, resource planning as well. It's not just like plug in, plug off, because then you might change providers, but that's not going to achieve. So use offshoring outsourcing as a strategic approach, and make sure that you plan well in advance. That is very important. And use it along with AI automation or whatever that you're subscribing to, or buying, and mix it all with your team in the UK and Ireland, wherever you are. And I think it's everything. It's the team on site, team off site in India, and AI automation. I think that's actually a big four playbook, or a big corporate playbook. And then obviously it's filtering down into mid-sized, smaller firms now as well. And I think that's the way forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that is the very good key point to mention there, is the fact that yes, we can help if you are extremely busy and a bit overwhelmed, but the best case scenario is don't wait till that point. Plan now ahead, so that you're covered, so that you're ready and you're not getting into that stressed, overwhelmed state. But whatever way we can help you anyway. So thanks so much, everybody, for watching us. And watch out for the next set of the series, as we've just mentioned. And if anybody wants any more information about how we can personally help you to save your time, efficiencies, and build that profit back up, then please do feel free to message Mayank privately or myself on LinkedIn. Tell us that you've watched this webinar, and we will happily get a conversation going with you and get a one-to-one together. But thanks so much, everybody, for watching. And thank you so much, for Mayank, for having the time to do this webinar.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Babe. It was really good, and appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you all soon. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good weekend. Take care. Bye.